The planet was silent. The air was heavy. The sky looked empty and pale. Mark walked slowly across the dry ground. His boots pressed against the dust, and the sound echoed like soft whispers. He thought he was alone here. He thought nothing lived on. This forgotten world. But then he heard a voice that did not belong to wind or machine. It came like a whisper at first, and then louder. "I am waiting." "Humans spray me." Mark froze. He looked around. There was no one in sight. No animal, no creature. No person. The land stretched in every direction with only broken rocks and dry sand. Still the words came again. "I am waiting. Humans spray me." Sound was inside his head, yet also around him. Mark felt his heart beat fast. He was not prepared for this. He came here for resources, not voices. He wondered if he had lost his mind. Maybe the thin air was playing tricks on him. But then he saw it far ahead among the rocks. A shape moved. It was slow. It was weak. It looked like a body half broken. It dragged itself closer to him, but could not stand tall. Its skin was cracked like old stone, and glowing faint light escaped the cracks. Mark stepped back with his hand on his tool. The figure lifted its head and the voice came again. "I am waiting. Humans spray me." The words were not spoken with a mouth. They were pressed straight into his mind. Mark stared at it. He had seen creatures before on other worlds, but never one like this. It was not attacking. It was not growling. It was begging. His chest grew tight. He asked himself if this was a trap. Maybe it wanted him to come close so it could strike. Maybe behind those rocks, others were hiding, waiting for him. But the figure looked too weak. It struggled just to move. Every step cracked its skin. Every breath looked painful. Mark felt torn between fear and pity. He wanted to turn back to his ship and lock the doors. But the voice kept reaching him. "Spray me, human." "I am waiting," Mark whispered softly. "What do you mean? What do you want?" But the answer was the same. "Spray me." He looked at his survival pack. Inside there was a small device. It could create a mist from water mixed with minerals. A simple spray to clean wounds and keep air filters fresh. It was nothing special. But then Mark understood the creature needed that spray. It was desperate for it. Somehow its body required the mist to live. Mark could not believe it. Such a powerful-looking being begging for something so simple. Something only humans carried in this form. Thought struck him with strange power. Humans often saw themselves as weak among stars. Yet here an alien was begging for what only he could provide. Mark's hand shook as he held the spray device. He could walk away. He could keep it for himself. He could leave this creature to die alone on the rocks. But the voice came again with more pain and more weakness. "I am waiting, human. Do not let me die. Spray me." The sound of those words filled him with unease. He felt the loneliness of the creature. He felt the weight of its pride broken into dust. Mark slowly stepped closer. The creature lifted its eyes. Those eyes glowed faint like fire dying under ashes. It looked at him not with anger, but with hope. Hope that he would not turn away. Mark felt fear crawl inside his mind. Was this the right choice? Was he saving a life or inviting death upon himself? The planet was silent again. Only his breath and the alien's broken voice remained, and so part 1 ends with Mark standing still, spray device in hand, the desperate alien before him, the words pressing one last time into his thoughts. "I am waiting, human. Spray me." Mark stood frozen with the spray in his hand. The creature before him was breaking apart like dry stone in the sun. Its body shook. With every movement, and faint light leaked from its cracks. The air around them felt heavy and tense, as if the ground itself was holding its breath. The voice pressed into his head again. "I am waiting, human. Spray me." Mark stepped closer. His boots scraped against the ground. The creature flinched but did not move away. It lifted one arm, trembling, and pointed weakly at the spray device in his hand. Mark looked at it carefully. The alien seemed to be falling apart little by little. Its skin flaked like ash, and its chest rose and fell in painful rhythm. He thought it might collapse before he even reached Eve, crouched near the rocks, keeping the spray close to his chest. The creature lowered its head as if ashamed. Mark finally spoke in a soft, broken voice. "Why me? Why spray? What will it do for youth?" Alien did not open its mouth, yet words struck his mind again. We breathe minerals, we drink mist, we are stone yet not stone. Without the spray we die, your kind carries it, you alone can give. It please do not leave me here to crumble. Mark stared at the device in his hand. It was nothing more than a basic tool for him. A spray to clear dust, a spray to keep his filters clean, and yet for this being, it was life. He felt a strange mix of power and fear inside him. This alien was stronger, larger, stranger than him, but right now it was kneeling helpless before him, asking for his help as if humans carried the key to survival. He asked again, "Why call me human? Why not take it yourself? Why wait for me?" The alien lifted its glowing eyes. It seemed to search for words. Then the thought pressed harder than before. "We once believed your kind was fragile. We thought you weak and unworthy of the stars. But now I see your breath carries what we cannot. Your spray holds life itself for us. That is why I wait. That is why I bow." Mark felt his skin crawl. The idea of an alien bowing to him filled him with unease. This was not how the universe worked. Humans struggled to survive among the stars. They were never the mighty ones. Yet here stood proof that something so simple from him could mean salvation. He tightened his grip on the device. If he sprayed it, would the alien rise stronger and turn on him? If he sprayed it, would he unleash a danger he could not control? But if he did not spray, then he would watch it die slowly in front of him. A cruel image burned into his mind of glowing cracks fading into nothing. Alien lowered its arms to the ground. Its strength was nearly gone. Each movement looked like agony. Its voice reached him again, weaker and broken. "I do not have long, I am waiting. Human, spray me." Mark's heart pounded. He took a slow breath. His hand trembled as he lifted the device. He aimed it but stopped halfway. He whispered to himself, "What if this kills me? What if I save it only to regret it?" But then he remembered the loneliness of the planet, the silence that filled every corner. The thought of leaving this creature to vanish into dust seemed unbearable. He looked once more into its glowing, fading eyes, and he saw not hate. He saw not deceit. He saw only the raw truth of desperation. Mark stepped closer again. The alien bowed its head further. It whispered into his mind like a sigh carried by the wind, "You are the only hope. Your kind holds the spray. Please, human." Mark felt his decision weigh like a mountain on his shoulders. He slowly pressed the switch of the device. A thin mist sprayed into the air. The alien inhaled sharply as the vapor touched its skin. Its body quivered. The cracks glowed brighter. The light spread through its frame like fire racing through wood. Mark jumped back in shock. For a moment he thought it might explode. The ground rumbled under his feet. The alien cried out loud this time. Not in thought, but in sound. A deep roar mixed with relief and agony. Mark held the device ready to spray again, or to fight if needed. The alien shook violently. Its stone-like body began to seal. The cracks closed slowly. The light pulsed in rhythm. With its breath, it lifted its head. Its eyes burned brighter than before. Mark could not tell if this was salvation or the birth of a new danger. Alien looked at him, and its voice returned inside his head, stronger, clearer, and almost gentle. "You saved me, human. I was waiting, and you answered. You sprayed life into me." Mark's knees weakened. He was not sure if he had made the right choice, but deep inside a strange connection formed. For the first time in his journeys he felt that humans might not be as weak as others believed. For the first time he felt the universe shift a little around him. The alien slowly rose taller, though still weak. It lowered its body in a bow, and the thought echoed once more. "You are more than fragile. You are more than we thought. You give what no other can, and I bow to that truth." Mark stood in silence, holding the device. The wind moved across the rocks. The planet remained silent, but inside his chest he knew this was only the beginning. The spray had saved one life, but it may have awakened something greater, and somewhere beyond the horizon he sensed that others would come. Others who might not bow. The air grew heavier after the spray touched the alien. Mark stood with the device still in his hand. The alien rose taller, though its body still trembled. Its cracks were closing, and the faint light inside it glowed stronger like fire hidden behind stone. Mark took a step back unsure. If he had saved a friend or created a threat, the alien looked at him and its voice pressed into his mind again. "Human, you gave me life. I owe you more than words can hold." Mark said nothing. He only stared and waited. His heart still beat fast with fear. The alien lowered its head as if showing respect, but even as it bowed, the ground shook. A low rumble rolled across the rocks, turned quickly, scanning the horizon. Shadows moved in the distance, shapes crawling closer. The alien spoke again with urgency. "They have smelled the mist. They are coming." Mark clenched his fist around the spray device. "What are they?" The alien answered without delay. "Predators, hunters of the weak. They feed when they sense life return. They will come for me, and for you." Mark cursed under his breath. He had not wanted to step into a battle, but now he was caught in one. The alien tried to stand fully, but its legs still shook. It stumbled, then pushed itself upright. Mark could see that it was not yet strong enough. The spray had healed it, but not restored all its power. The shadows grew clearer. Creatures crawled over the rocks. Like beasts made of bone and ash, their eyes burned red, their bodies twisted and sharp. They moved fast. Mark felt his chest tighten. There were too many of them. The alien turned to him. Its thought pressed again. "You should run. Human, leave me here, save yourself." But Mark shook his head. If he ran, he would not make it back to the ship before they reached him, and something inside him refused to abandon the being he had just saved. He raised the spray device, though it was hardly a weapon. He whispered to himself, "I cannot leave now." The creatures came closer, their claws scratched the rocks, their cries pierced the silent sky. The alien spread its arms wide as if shielding Mark, its body still cracked but glowing brighter. Mark could feel the heat pulsing from it. The alien spoke, "Stand behind me, human. If I fall, you must use the spray again. If I fall, you must keep hope alive." Mark nodded, even though fear gripped him. The first predator leapt forward. The alien struck with a sudden burst of strength. Its arm swung like a hammer. The predator shattered into fragments of stone and ash, but three more took its place. Mark backed up, holding the device tightly. The alien fought with desperate force. Every movement broke small cracks open again, but the spray's effect held. The glow inside it grew with every strike. It was burning its life to fight. Mark shouted, "There are too many." The alien did not answer it, only fought harder. But soon one predator slipped past and lunged toward Mark. Its claws reached for him. Mark raised the spray in panic. He pressed the switch, and a cloud of mist burst out. The creature inhaled the mist and shrieked. Its body twisted violently, then turned to dust at his feet. Mark stared in shock. He had not known the spray could do that. The alien looked at him with fire in its eyes. "Now you see, human, the spray is death to them. You are the weapon they fear." Mark felt the weight of those words. He realized the spray was not only life for the alien, but poison for the hunters. The predators hesitated, now circling at a distance. They hissed but did not rush forward. The alien stood tall, though shaking. It whispered in his mind again, "Together we can drive them back. But I cannot last without more spray. You must choose, human. Use it on me or use it on them." Mark's hand trembled. The mist was limited. The canister was not endless. If he wasted it all, neither of them would survive. He had to think quickly. His chest burned with fear and urgency. The predators edged closer, their eyes glowing hotter. Mark raised the spray again. His heart thundered like drums. He whispered to himself, "If I am the weapon, then I must fight." He sprayed the mist in wide arcs. The vapor spread across the rocks. Predators leapt into it and screamed, their bodies melted to dust. But the spray level dropped fast. The alien cried out, "Save some for me, human. Do not forget I still need it." Mark stopped spraying. His breath came in short gasps. The predators fell back, but still circled, waiting for a chance. The alien sank to one knee, its cracks reopening. Mark looked at the gauge on the device. The mist was running low. He faced a cruel choice: spray the alien to save its life, or keep spraying the predators to keep them away. Either choice carried death. Either choice demanded sacrifice. The alien looked at him with desperate eyes. Its voice pressed harder than ever into his skull. I was waiting. Human, do not let me fall now. Spray me. Mark gritted his teeth. He felt anger, frustration, fear, all mixed together. He shouted into the empty sky, "Why me? Why? Here, why must I choose?" But there was no answer except the circling predators and the broken alien kneeling before him. The fate of them both rested in his trembling hand. He lifted the spray slowly. The predators hissed louder, sensing weakness. The alien bowed its head as if ready for whatever he decided. Mark stood at the edge of despair. His finger hovered over the trigger. The future of the fight balanced in that single moment. Mark stood frozen with the spray in his hand. The alien knelt before him, glowing cracks spreading wider as if life was slipping away again. Around them the predators circled closer, their red eyes burning brighter, their claws scraping against the stone ground. Mark felt trapped between impossible choices. The spray was almost empty. One wrong decision would mean death. The alien lifted its head weakly. Its voice pressed inside Mark's mind with painful strength. "I was waiting, human. Do not let me fall again. Spray me." Mark shook his head. "If I spray you, the predators will tear us apart. If I spray them, you will collapse before my eyes." He felt his chest tighten with anger and fear. "Why is everything on my shoulders?" The predators hissed louder, their bodies twitching, ready to leap. Mark aimed the spray toward them, but did not press the switch. His eyes locked on the alien, who looked at him with fading light. The alien whispered again, "Trust me, human. Spray me and I will fight for you." Mark hesitated. He could not see the future, but deep inside he felt a spark of faith. This alien had bowed to him, had begged for his help, had shown weakness instead of pride. Maybe trust was the only path left. He raised the spray slowly. He pointed it at the alien. The predators screamed and rushed forward, sensing the moment. Mark pressed the switch. The mist burst out, covering the alien. The glowing cracks sealed faster. The body straightened. The light inside burned like fire unleashed. The alien roared a sound that shook the ground. The predators froze in fear, but then leapt anyway. The alien moved like a storm. Its arms struck with crushing power. Its body radiated blinding light. Each predator that touched it turned to ash. Mark stumbled back, watching in awe. He had never seen such raw force. The alien fought with rage, but also with purpose. Every strike, every movement seemed like it was protecting him. The predators howled, but one by one they fell. Still more came from the horizon, crawling like rivers of shadow. Mark checked the spray gauge. It was nearly empty. His heart dropped. If this wave did not end soon, they would both be finished. Alien looked back at him while fighting. Its voice thundered in his mind, "You must not fear, human. Even if I burn away, you must survive. Your kind holds the key. We never understood your spray is life and death together. The predators fear it, and I need it. You carry balance in your hand. That is why I..." Mark's throat tightened. He had never thought of himself as powerful. Humans were always the ones hiding from stronger beings in the stars. But right now he held something greater than any weapon. He held the decision of life and death for creatures beyond his world. The alien crushed another predator, then dropped to one knee. The light flickered. It cried out, "More spray, human." Now Mark ran forward and pressed the trigger again. A final burst of mist covered the alien. The glow flared so bright it blinded him. When his vision cleared, he saw the alien towering above the predators like a burning giant. It unleashed a wave of force that shattered the ground. The predators screamed in terror. Some turned and fled. Others were ripped apart by the radiant power. Mark shielded his eyes. The sound of battle shook the barren land. The alien kept fighting with unstoppable strength. But Mark knew the truth. The spray was gone. The device hissed empty. He held it in his hand, useless now. He whispered under his breath, "Please be enough." The predators thinned. The ground was littered with dust and broken fragments. The alien stood tall, breathing hard, its glow flickering. Mark could see it was burning its life faster than the spray could sustain. It turned to him, its voice pressed into his skull, but softer now. The spray is gone, human, but you gave me strength. When I had none, I will give everything to protect you. Mark wanted to shout at it to stop. He wanted to tell it to save itself. But before he could speak, the final wave of predators surged from the horizon, a black sea of claws and fangs rushing toward them. Mark gripped the empty spray, and his heart sank. They could not win against so many. The alien stepped in front of him again. It spread its arms wide. Its body cracked open, glowing like molten stone. It whispered one last time in his mind, "Remember me, human. Remember that your kind is not weak. You hold life in your hands even when you do not see it. Now run." Mark shook his head. "I will not leave you." But the alien pushed him back with sudden force. Mark fell against the rocks, watching in horror. The alien glowed brighter and brighter, its body splitting open, as if the light inside could no longer be contained. The predators rushed closer. The alien roared and unleashed everything. A blinding wave of fire and mist burst outward. The ground shattered. The predators screamed and dissolved into dust. Mark covered his face as the shockwave ripped across the land. When the light faded, he looked up. The predators were gone. The ground was broken into deep cracks, and the alien stood silent, its body no longer moving, the glow inside fading slowly. Mark dragged himself forward. He reached the alien and touched its cracked surface. It was cold. Now the voice was gone. Tears filled his eyes. He whispered, "You saved me when I could not save." Youth Planet was silent again. Only the broken land remained. Mark held the empty spray in his hand and looked to the sky. He knew this was not the end. He knew more would come, but he also knew something had changed forever. The alien had given its last breath to protect him, and its final words echoed in his mind. "Human, you are not weak. You carry life in your hands." Mark bowed his head in silence. The spray was gone. The alien was gone, but the truth remained, and it burned inside him like fire that would never die. The land was quiet after the storm of light. Mark knelt beside the alien body that no longer glowed. The stone-like skin was cracked and lifeless. The voice that had pressed into his head again and again was gone. Only silence remained. The silence was heavier than the weight of the planet itself. Mark placed his hand on the alien chest. It was cold. It was still. He whispered softly to the empty air, "I sprayed you, I saved you, and you saved me. But now you are gone." His heart ached in a way he had never felt before. This was not just the loss of a creature from another world. This was the loss of a being that had seen him as more than fragile. A being that had bowed to him and trusted him when death closed in. Mark wiped his eyes and stood slowly. The empty spray device hung useless in his hand. The tool that had been life and death, now just a hollow shell. He looked across the horizon. The ground was cracked from the alien's final burst of power. The predators were gone, turned to dust scattered in the wind. But Mark knew the quiet would not last. The planet held more dangers. Other predators might come again, and he had nothing left to fight them. Still, he felt a strange strength inside. The words of the alien echoed through his mind like fire carved into stone. "Human, you are not weak, human. You carry life in your hands." Mark walked toward the wreck of his ship. The hull was damaged but still standing. He entered and sat in the control seat. The silence of the cabin pressed around him. He closed his eyes. He could still hear the alien voice whispering, "I am waiting, human. Spray me." But now the words were memory only. He thought about leaving the planet at once. But another thought grew stronger. If that alien was real, then maybe more of its kind existed. Maybe others were waiting, hidden, broken, desperate for help. He could not fly away and forget. He could not let the sacrifice vanish into dust. Mark clenched his fists. He whispered to himself, "If one was waiting, then more will wait, and I will not turn away." He searched the ship's storage. He found spare minerals, water filters, and small empty tanks. He thought of building more spray devices, not for himself alone, but for those who might need it. The idea filled him with new purpose. His loss became his strength. The alien had given everything to protect him. Now he would Carry that gift forward. As he worked, the night passed. The stars outside burned cold and endless. Mark built small sprayers one by one. His hands shook with exhaustion, but he did not stop. Every hiss of the tool, every drop of mist reminded him of the voice that had begged and bowed. "I am waiting, human. Spray me," he whispered to the memory as he worked. "I hear you still. I will keep spraying. Not for you alone, but for all who wait." Dawn came, and the land glowed faint under the rising sun. Mark stepped outside with the new devices. The air was still heavy, but he felt lighter inside. He walked to the place where the alien had fallen. The stone body remained cold, but somehow peaceful. Mark placed one of the sprayers beside it like an offering. Like a promise, he bowed his head and spoke softly. "I could not save you forever, but I will save others. Your death will not be forgotten." The wind carried dust across the land. Mark stood tall against it. He knew more predators would come someday, but he also knew he was no longer alone in spirit. The alien sacrifice lived inside him, and the truth of human strength was no longer hidden. He turned toward the horizon. He would travel across the planet. He would search every corner. If others of the alien kind were waiting, broken and desperate, he would find them. He would spray life into them. He would prove again and again that humans were not weak. As he began walking, his mind grew calm. He imagined the alien voice whispering beside him. "You are the one who carries balance. You are the one who holds both life and death." And he whispered back to the voice in memory, "I will not stop. I will not forget." The ground stretched endless ahead, but each step felt certain. Mark no longer doubted himself. He carried no weapon but the spray. Yet that was enough. It was more than enough. Story that began with a desperate plea was now his mission. The cry that once shook him with fear now guided him with strength. "I am waiting, human, spray me." He heard it again and again, not as a demand but as a call that he would answer. Mark walked on into the barren land, the ship behind him silent, the alien body resting in peace, the horizon before him endless and unknown, but his heart steady. With purpose, the predators would return, the dangers would grow, the spray would run low. But none of that mattered anymore, because Mark understood the truth now. Humans were not fragile shadows lost among stars. Humans were the bringers of balance. Humans were the ones who sprayed life into dying worlds. Mark lifted one of the sprayers and pressed the switch. A mist rose into the air and sparkled in the light. He watched it drift on the wind. He whispered into the silence of the planet, "I am here. I will spray. I will not stop. And wherever you are, you will know that humans are not weak." The mist faded into the sky. The land echoed with silence once more. But Mark felt no fear. The journey was only beginning, and he was ready to carry it forward until the very end. The end.